Hey there, everyone, and welcome to the Robidoux live stream here on July 17th, 2020. Today we have some really exciting news. We're going to talk about some special stuff that's going to go on next week during St. Joseph Local History Week that we're having here in St. Joseph. Along with that, we are going to talk a little bit about our gift shop and what's going on there, as well as we're going to start a brand new series about a very special family to the St. Joseph area and really the whole Western United States. So to start off with, we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on here at the Row. As you all know, Cat Designs is still partnering us with here at the Row, and they do still have their amazing deal of giving anyone who starts a new membership a 10% off any amount of their purchases through Cat Designs. There's some amazing products that they've brought in, including some great necklaces, other types of jewelry, including rings and earrings. If you keep a look on our page here, we do have some pretty cool images that we've put up of some of the items that they brought in that Cat Designs has shared with us. So definitely do swing by here to come check that out. We are really excited about that. So like I was saying, next week is St. Joseph Local History Week, put on by the St. Joseph Public Libraries. If you go to their website, they have a whole bunch of amazing events that they're doing through their system. But here at the Row, we actually have three special events we're going to be running next week. The first one's going to be on Wednesday. If you have any grandkids or kids that love story time, we're actually going to be doing a very special Zoom meeting through their system to read a book about the era that Joseph would have lived. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to do some story time. I'm going to be reading the book myself, and so we're looking forward to that. The following day, we're going to be having a very, very special live stream here on the here on Facebook at about 3 o'clock p.m. on that Thursday. We're going to be having a video presentation by Dr. John Tapia discussing the Robidoux archaeological dig that was done in the mid 70s and early 80s. We're really excited about that presentation. I've seen the actual presentation myself. It's really, really good and well done. And some really great pictures that I haven't seen myself of the dig. So we definitely love you to check that out. Like I said, at 3 o'clock that day is when we're going to be kicking that off right here on the live stream here. So do definitely pay attention to that and come join us then. And then next Friday, as always, we're going to have our weekly live stream. We are doing a special live stream next week, specifically talking about Joseph Robidoux. As we said, next week is Local History Week, so we're going to be having a very special edition about him specifically. So to kick that off, we are going to do some special stuff this week about the Robidoux family. Before we do get to that, though, I did want to talk a little bit about the Row and the museum we have here. We are open right now, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Wednesday through Saturday. Our gift shop is wide open. We have some great stuff, including these T-shirts that I'm wearing right now. They're a really cool item that we have, so you can show your love for the Robidoux Row and what we do here at the museum. Along with that, we do have some of our other great exhibits that we've rolled out. We still have there's a little bit more time left, but you could definitely come check out the voices or the buildings that built St. Joe exhibit that we have. That includes stuff about the Cracker House and the Stockyard Exchange, as well as checking out our brand new actual exhibit room that we fixed up this year just for 2020, including our new exhibit that we talked about a month ago, The Voices of the Trail, which has some really great stories of people who actually went on the Western Trails. So now, to get into what we're talking about this week, we are going over the Robidoux family. We're digging a little bit into who the Robidoux family was, what they did, and why they ended up in the United States, and specifically in the St. Joseph region. So to start the whole story off, we have to go all the way back to the first Robidoux to come to the United States. And that was, or not the United States, but to North America. And that was Mr. Andre Robidoux. Andre Robidoux was born in 1643 in, of all places, Burgos, Spain. He was actually born in Spain, but was of French descent. That's why the Robidoux are viewed as a French and Spanish family. He was born to his father and mother were from Spain, and when he grew up, he actually became a sailor, and signed on to travel to Quebec and New France. He eventually ended up settling in what's known as La Prairie, Quebec, um, and then from there ended up moving to the region. Eventually, his family ended up moving to the region of Montreal. He was a sailor for most of his life until later he got involved in a few other trade type of organizations. Following Andre was his son, Bouramain, and he was the one that moved. He was born in Montreal, and ended up becoming a tradesman there in the area, and was involved with his family, and eventually had having 13 kids, and lived in that area, the La Prairie in the Montreal region, for many, many years. La Prairie actually is a subregion of Montreal and still exists to this day. It's more of a neighborhood now, though, but you can actually still look it up on Google. Through the generations after that, there was quite a few fathers and grandfathers. There was two Josephs in between the St. Joe founders, Joseph's father and Guermain, but there's so many other Josephs in the family that we don't really know how to classify them. So we're just going to kind of jump down a little bit. The other two fathers they were very highly involved in some of the battles of Quebec, as well as the Battle of the Plains of Abraham during the 7 Years' War, as well as his grandfather was involved with the trading in the area, as well as helping protect the Gulf of St. Lawrence during those battles. And then we get to Joseph Robidoux's father, Joseph III. Joseph III was born in La Prairie, in Quebec, and what's now in Montreal, and lived there for many years until about 1771. In 1771, his father moved from La Prairie to St. Louis, or what became St. Louis. Uh, at that time, he started doing business in St. Louis, kind of started to build himself a small fortune, and lived there for his entire life. He actually died in St. Louis. Now, some of the interesting facts about Joseph's father is that he later became one of the heads of the militia of St. Louis. He became important enough that uh, the governor at the time of the French slash Spanish region, uh, trusted him enough to be the head of the actual militia. Along with that, and when the city of St. Louis was transferred to American control after the purchase of Louisiana Purchase, the people of St. Louis were unaware that they were actually French citizens for a while. Many of them had come from the Quebec and Montreal regions and wanted to be Frenchmen. And so they petitioned to Lewis and Clark, along with Captain Stoddard, who was the soon-to-be governor of Missouri, and asked them to allow them to be French for one day. They even said that after that they'll be loyal citizens of the United States, just as they were loyal citizens of Spain, but they would like to be American or French citizens for one day. And Lewis and Clark even agreed with them and asked Captain Stoddard to allow it, which he did, making St. Louis actually the last part of the Louisiana Purchase to become an American, or the colonies, or American colony. And it was actually French. Officially, the French Republic's flag was flown for 24 hours over St. Louis. So his father then went on to become a tradesman, was highly involved with the American Fur Trade Company, started into fur trading while his son was young. And an interesting fact that we found about his father was in 1808, the first newspaper in all of Missouri was founded. And it was called the Missouri Gazette. And it was founded by a man named Joseph Charles. Well, Joseph Charles was given a room in Joseph Robidoux's home, and that's where he invented the first newspaper. The Missouri Gazette's first edition was actually produced there in Joseph's home, and Joseph Robidoux, the founder of St. Joseph's father, is known to be one of the first subscribers to that newspaper. Now, the Missouri Gazette did eventually become what was known as the St. Louis Republic in about 1822, and the St. Louis Republic continued all the way until 1919. And in 1919, it was sold to the St. Louis Globe-Democrat. Now, the Globe-Democrat continued producing newspapers until 1986. So the history of that newspaper lasted all the way up until 1986 when the Globe-Democrat was finally shut down. So that was just a little bit about Joseph Robidoux's early family. They helped found St. Louis. They helped found Montreal. And from what we found, even his great grandfather Andre may have been part of the first four families of Montreal. It's hard to really define if he was, but definitely he was part of what's known as the first 22. They were the first 22 people or first 35 people to live in La Prairie, which later became part of Montreal. So that was just a little bit about Joseph Robidoux's family and the early Robidoux family. Next week, like I said, we are going to talk about Joseph Robidoux, the founder of St. Joseph, and talk about the ins and outs of his life. Where did he come from? How did he get to St. Joseph? And why was St. Joseph founded? So definitely do join us next week. Like I said, also, if you have any youngins that want to hear a story about the wagons movement, definitely check out the library's website for the link there to the Zoom of us doing our story time talking about the Wagons West movement. And join us next Thursday at 3 p.m. for Dr. John Tapia's special presentation on the archaeological dig done here at the Robidoux Row. And then, of course, next Friday, join us here again for more information on Joseph Robidoux. We would love for you guys to come by and see us here at the Row anytime. Like I said, we're open 10 to 4, Wednesdays through Saturdays, and we do definitely look forward to hearing from you. All right, thanks so much for your time.